we have Nancy from the Pie Junkie. I'm so excited that you've joined us today.
And I'm going to apologize for the way I look, but you know, I'm in the bush right now, and there was a few things I needed to get morning first. So
not to worry at all. I know. I think you said you had an immunocompromised kid, and we're in the same boat. Jamie has one at home, and I'm asthmatic, so we're staying pretty close to home these days. So we understand.
Yeah. All right. What shall we talk about, ladies? Pie Junkie.
I had all kinds of things that I wanted to share. I think the first thing that I wanted to share with you is that up until about 2 weeks ago, I'd never been to the Pie Junkie. And I heard from many, many friends that you guys had the best pies. Okay. So on a whim, I'm a Weight Watchers, which is, by the way, like torture. So I decided I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna have a day of complete cheat. So I walk into the Pie Junkie thinking I'm gonna buy a meat pie and eat that as my cheat. And then I discover your sour cherry pie. And I think, forget it, I'm gonna eat that. And I came home and I sit down and I thought that was better than an orgasm. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that on a phone. So good.
Okay.
The most
stuff worse than that.
Okay, good. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was amazing. And then I was talking with some of my friends. I have a couple of girlfriends who work at Brookfield, and I have this feeling they may be ordering in all the time because Suzanne at Brookfield suggested that I order, I think it's called the Steak and Stout. Steak and Stout?
Oh, isn't that good? Yeah, the Steak and Stout and Gruyere.
I have not eaten it yet, but she was raving about it so much that I was like, I've got to go and stand in line. And so you guys actually, I think right now have a policy that you're only allowed to have 2 people in the store at the same time. So I stood in line, which was totally fine.
That's right, yeah.
And I have, I think 6 pies in my freezer right now, just because I ordered so many, but I was blown away. They were delicious.
Yeah, I love the Steak and Stout. It's actually Canmore Brewery Stout. Well, sure. Yeah, I think Steak and Stout is great. So we did that specifically for them, for their brewery, is the little pub pie. Mm-hmm. And they were just so popular, and people were calling us saying, will you carry them as the full-size pies? Will you carry them as a full-size pie? And we finally gave them a call and said, I want to carry this. So it's one of my new favorites. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Tell us a little bit about your history, like about how Pie Junkie started, and tell us about that. I'm really curious about your history of it.
So I actually come from marketing communications. I was a creative director. I owned my own advertising agency for years. Wow. So in Toronto, and then 25 years now I've been in Calgary. So I was in Toronto for many years and did a lot of work in the early years in sort of the hospitality end, but more on the hospitality end, coming from the financial side of things and annual reports, that kind of stuff. Made it into doing a lot of work for the music industry. Long story short, came out to Calgary and connected with an old friend that I grew up with. And I was nominated for a Juno that year. Wow. And came out to Calgary, ended up marrying him. Oh. So I moved my agency from Toronto to Calgary and decided just to run a little boutique in Calgary. And after many years of running Montana Creative Communications, which, you know, I branded River Cafe, Teatro, Buffalo Mountain, Emerald Lake, Lance Hurtaby's, all his projects, so the Vintage Group. So I was very involved in the hospitality industry from when I sort of landed. And when my daughter was born in 2006, I closed Montana Creative and just consulted. More so after Danny was born, we were told she was palliative and wouldn't live a year. So kind of changed the direction of my career, but was always a consultant, food stylist, and marketing in the hospitality industry. So I was all about food and foodies and telling restaurants what they needed to do. And truly it was, I guess, 2015. And I was kind of saw the writing on the wall in terms of agencies were not going to be where, and I was done. I had been doing it for a really long time. And my mother passed away, and the year previous to that, and my oldest daughter, who was is special needs, had said to me who was going to make pie with her.
Oh.
And I said, well, you know, Nana's in heaven, but I can make pie with you. And she said, no, I want to make pie for a living. And so I looked at it as if it were a client coming to me with any kind of project, and looked at it from the viability and where things were in the market and so forth. And my father was British and was a chef during World War in the Army and was passionate about food. My mother's Italian, so all about food. So they were big foodies. We grew everything. I'm from Guelph, Ontario originally. So I grew up with savory pie from the British side, and my mother was all about the sweet pie. So yeah, it seemed to me to be a great opportunity to create something. And the original thought was a crazy thought that I could create a little pie shop not too far from our home in Wildwood and spend more time with my kids and, you know, fill a hole in the market with something that didn't exist, which was real homemade all butter pastry, fillings from scratch, like real pie.
Yeah.
And no one was doing that, you know, not even the Hutterite pie is of course all shortening, right?
Oh,
And
I love that story. Wow.
So yeah, so I opened it with the intentions of creating this little shop. Things got really busy really quickly, busier than someone from the marketing operation, sort of in terms of marketing, styling, foods. I'm a food stylist. I still style for lots of people. So it got really busy, and once I was the year in, I had a previous partner I had started with that really wasn't a partner. He was never present, and so I asked my good friend Joanne Kaza, who was the VP of Enerplus Oil and Gas. And she was just taking retirement due to some health issues that had happened. She had was returning back from cancer. And I kind of said, hey, you know all the other side of the business. I know this side, but you know that side. And the two of us, I think, can make great partners. So really, you know, 4 years ago, Joanne joined the business. So we'll be 5 years old in September. And Joanne joined the business 4 years ago. So it's the two of us. And yeah, we couldn't be more yin and yang if you tried. Joanne is all business, cut and dry. She is she's all numbers. She's you know, she is very pragmatic. She's that kind of thinker. Joanne was always all business, where, you know, I've always approached it from the marketing creative side, as well as very much relationship marketing, because that's very much about the part of building our brand, but also the hospitality industry as a whole. So Joanne joined us 4 years ago, and yeah, it was a marriage made in heaven, because then I knew why I wasn't making money, but I was selling lots of pie. And Joanne put a dime, every single penny in our business, from turning the lights on in the morning to turning them off at night, to every kilowatt of electricity or ounce of gas. We know where it goes, and it's allocated. So, because it's a very low margin business. So, I mean, it's premium food. Yeah. Premium quality food, right? No compromise. And then of course it's all handmade.
And so you guys have 2 locations then? Is there 2 or is there more? 3?
There's 3. There's 3 locations. So we opened in Spruce. I opened up in Spruce myself in 2015. And then, yeah, and then Joanne joined 2016. And by the September of 2000, before we hit 2 years old, we had the Kensington location open. And we hit just over the 3-year mark when we opened Mahogany.
Awesome.
We found you in Mahogany, so I'm sorry that I didn't know that you've been in business for as long as you have, but I'm very grateful that you joined Mahogany.
That's okay. You know, it was funny because it's been, you know, it's you know, the first 5 years of any business is a struggle, and when you're you employ hands to do it. It's very often challenging. You go through these cycles of people that, you know, they come and they go, and particularly hospitality people. And so it was a bit of a slog, and I wasn't sure I wanted to do a third store, and actually did a tour down at Westman Village and went, I love this. I love this whole concept of, I liked mahogany, Westman Village, oak, what is that? Oak, trying to remember all the communities. There was another community. What's the other community right beside?
Okay.
Oak Bay, yeah, love it. And it was all new to me. Like I've always lived in the core. Like I lived in Wildwood. I lived in sort of Elbow Park Mission area, and now we're in Britannia, or not Britannia, Glenmorgan. But so that was all new to me. Yeah. So I love it down there. I love it down there. So mahogany is store number 3.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. I am curious about something, because I was reading a little bit. I'm trying to get a bit of history on you. You have a program called Anthony at your service, or at least it's your site. Right. Would you explain to me how that happened? I'm very curious. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. So, you know, as a mother of special needs, you are always, you know, as a mom of special needs, you're always worried about your child's future more intensely than I am for my average beautiful daughter here, or my son. You recognize that they're going to go up and down, but they're going to find their way. But of course, when you have special needs people, your children, you're always searching. And years ago, somebody had sent me a little video clip of a woman in Edmonton whose son was Anthony, and that Anthony graduated high school and went grade 13, grade 14, grade 15. I want to keep going to school. He wanted to do something, of course. And his mom asked him what he wanted, and he said he wanted to bring things to people. So his mom put together Anthony at his service, and I heard this lovely story. And then it was 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years ago, Christmas, his mother contacted me and said that she was going to be in Edmonton, from Edmonton to Calgary. And they were looking at opening in Calgary, and I went, come in, come see me. You're delivering all my pie from now on. Oh. And so they are associated with the Asperger's and Autism Society. Mm-hmm. So now that doesn't mean, like, my daughter's Taya's Williams syndrome. So she can go to the Asperger's and Autism Society, and she's kind of more in that spectrum anyway for Taya. So basically what it is the special needs adults and youth, they suffer from severe depression. Mm-hmm. They're used to going to school, and they want to have a purpose, and most of them are quite, you know, in certain levels of the spectrum, but they understand that they're missing something, and they want to be productive, and they want to have something to do. So she aligned with the Asperger's Association, Autism Asperger's, and they deliver all our, and I got to tell you, they are the best delivery service in the city. So if you want something picked up, you can call them at any time, and they can pick something up in the city and deliver it for you. They deliver my wedding pies. And
really?
They deliver my wedding pies. And I tell everybody that they come in the door, they have their baseball hats on and their baseball shirts or t-shirts, and they're clean and tidy and presentable, excited and responsible. Their aides are their drivers. So sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a live-in aide, like a assistive roommate or an aide, and they're the drivers. And the boys come in. Typically it's boys. There's a few girls. Typically right now the bulk is boys, and they come in and they'll go, Nancy, what is it? What are we doing? What does it look like? Or they'll come in and say, I'm delivering a cherry pie today. But if it's wedding pies, I show them the pie and I say, okay, you can't touch the side of the box, and put this one here and put that. And they arrive 15 minutes early for pickups. Traditionally, they're nagging me to be on time because they'll call us, and they pick it up, and they are so careful, and everything is delivered in pristine order. So they're great. They're great. And I love them. And again, you know, they're people that in our community that really need to be recognized, that they have an incredible value, and they're an incredible value to the Pie Junkie. Yeah.
I love that. I know I have a couple of friends kids, and I think that I know the struggle they go through, and so the idea that you've helped to create something is I'm just blown away. I thought it was awesome. Cry worthy.
Well, I have to tell you, Deb from Anthony at your service, she's an amazing woman, and you know, her story is, you know, it's funny. We had a day where we drank wine at Mercado, and I told her my story, and she told me hers, and I was like, how did you live through that? And she's like, oh my God, how did you live through that? But she's got an incredible story, and I'm just glad to be a little tiny part of supporting them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to Mother's Day, because you mentioned to me that you had some things that were going on for Mother's Day. So I'd love for you to share what that might look like.
Okay, so, and I'm so excited actually, because so we've created a Mexican strata. It's chorizo, roasted peppers, onion, aged cheddar. Oh, it's just layers of a potato, of course, layers of yummy, and then sort of an egg mix. So, and it's so good. So good. We've tried it with sour cream, and actually we're going to do it with a little avocado tonight too, because I think it'll be amazing. So it's kind of, it's perfect for brunch. Mm-hmm. It's perfect for dinner. And I think, and we were doing it family size, so mm-hmm. that, you know, if there's a few people getting together, hopefully a very small group, it's 6 slices. But we found when we did, like last year, I've been wanting to do forever turkey dinner pie. And for Christmas, we did our turkey dinner pie. Thanksgiving and Christmas, we couldn't make enough. And then I wanted to do something for Easter. So we did the Easter dinner pie, which was ham, scalloped potatoes, cauliflower. It was just amazing. And we couldn't make enough of those. So we decided I wanted to do something that would be great with like an arugula salad on a picnic table any day of the week. So it's brunch. We're launching it for Mother's Day brunch or dinner. It's going to be beautiful. It's super good.
That's
and
awesome.
Then for the vegetarian moms, which there are so many, we have a great vegetarian pot pie that we're doing right now. In that same size, we're doing a mushroom and Gruyere tart. So for those vegetarian moms, they can still have a lovely brunch and item. And then what did we bring out? We're bringing out chocolate pralines cream pie.
Wow.
My daughter just went, because we had one last. So it's our chocolate silk. It's our chocolate silk with our homemade pralines sort of cracked in, and then we're topping it with it and then cream. So it's pretty amazing. And I must say, I said I wasn't going to have any last night, and then on my way up to bed, I ate one. I know.
Having a pie like that and not trying to have a nibble. I'm sorry, but that's
well. My daughter's birthday was Lane turned 17 the night before, so I had made her a mixed berry cheesecake from scratch the day before. And last week, my other daughter, Taya, she turned 18, and I made a tiramisu for her. So there's been a lot of dessert making in the last couple weeks. So
yeah,
you know, so I didn't really need any more pie, but I ate it anyway. It was really good. So those are launching this week. Yes.
So one of the things Jen and I have been trying to do, why we reached out to you today, is we want to be able to support businesses and ask, how can we help? We know the climate has changed for all of the local businesses, and so there's a big drive right now. How can we get out there? What can we do? And how can our local neighborhood support you in your business so that we can make sure that Pie Junkie is there for many, many more years to come?
Thank you. It's been scary. And it's particularly scary for this A-type personality to not be there all the time. So I hope things change quickly. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, we're building a patio at Mahogany.
Oh, wow.
And it will be licensed once I get back and can make that happen.
Wow.
So we've been working on that. So that will be a licensed patio, and it will be lots of flowers and stuff. So it'll be super pretty. I think it'll be a nice addition to the community, and I'm looking forward to that. Won't be huge, but it'll be intimate like our shop. So how can you help us? Getting the word out for sure. I think the hardest thing, it changes every day, right? At first it was, just trying to figure out what was going to happen. And then of course, so many staff like myself didn't feel safe working. So we lost a lot of staff. The staff that we had, they go up and down with fear because they're so in the public place. And certainly when it started, it was pretty scary. And then if you've got a sore throat, or like we have a sore throat, if you're not feeling it at all, you may not come in, let us know. So, we think we got a crew and we've distanced them like crazy. So instead of doing pie production 5 days a week, we made it into 7 days so we could open the spaces up and keep everybody safe. And then, but every other day we lose a different person. And so that's been super challenging. So I think now that we're going to start next week trying to run 2 shifts over 7 days, so we can get one shift to sort of weigh all the balls of dough and press all the balls of dough, and the next group will form them in the rings and fill them. And, so we're trying to tier it out so that our bakers are coming in at 3 a.m. instead of like 6 a.m. So they get most of their work done before the rest of the staff come in, so that we're creating this distance. So I think for us, I think the scary thing is after Mother's Day, we come into where, less savory pie is sold, hence why we're coming out with more tarts and stuff. That's the other one I love. It's actually my mother's recipe, which is a goat cheese and tomato tart. So it's goat cheese and ricotta and Parmesan and fresh herbs, family secret. And we kind of do that mixture in a small tart, and we top it with herbed tomatoes. I love it with arugula salad. I often serve it as an appetizer too. That's launching this week as well. And the goat cheese we use is Dancing Goat Cheese, also a local provider, and friends of ours who make the most incredible cheese. So to help us, get the word out there, let people know, I think is just going to be so huge for us.
And when are you open right now? What is your storefront? Because I know the storefronts are still open for people to come in and buy. Or is there delivery? What are the ways we can buy?
So we're open every day. We've reduced our hours. So we're 11 till 6, 7 days a week. So open every day, 11 till 6. You can use Skip the Dishes and DoorDash. We tell people phone in advance, place your order on the phone, and we can have it ready for a quick pickup, or you can pull up out front, and we do no contact curbside delivery. So we'll just call us. We'll put it on the table outside. You come, you grab it, or we can bring it right to your corridor, whatever you feel most comfortable with.
Okay.
So, trying to do everything we can. We're also aligned with Spud delivery, so that kind of stuff. But for the store in Mahogany, if you could, order in advance, or absolutely, you can pop by. We do still get lots of pop bys. The only thing that we are asking is that people recognize that they're tiny shops, and so 2 people in the store at a time. Yeah.
When I was there was a lineup, and everybody was super friendly. As a matter of fact, that was the reason I ended up buying more pies, is because the guy behind me started talking about all your sweet pies, and I was like, well, that was not what I was coming for. But now $150 on pie. And I'm not disappointed by it, just so you know. Best money ever spent.
I got one of your pie, a gift box with little pies in it.
Yes.
And those are beautiful. So what a great gifting option if somebody's looking for a Mother's Day gift, or a gifting option that is totally something you wouldn't think of. I was so enamored with it. It was the coolest gift, I think, one of the coolest things I've ever received.
So at Christmas time, in those boxes, we do a 16-centimeter pie, savory pie, and a 16-centimeter sweet pie. So it's like 4 slices, 4 small slices or 3 slices. But it's great because at Christmas we do a tortilla and a sweet pie. But at any time you can order a savory pie with a sweet pie in the box with the Prosecco. So it really is dinner and dessert with the bottle of Prosecco for 2 people.
I love it.
Yeah, it is. And it gives you just enough leftover. So those are always gracious gifts, and we do them all year round, but Christmas, they're huge. We're always changing our pie. So all summer long, like soon we'll be, in time for Father's Day, we'll have like strawberry rhubarb. We're also launching our blueberry Saskatoon this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Right. And then we'll come out with the peach apricot as soon as I can get apricots. Like Thanksgiving, it'll change. So we're constantly changing. We've actually just developed a pie that's called a chocolate heel pie. It's amazing. It's like a brownie pie. That's going to be the best pie all summer long. I've got to say, it's like, if you guys haven't tried the Jamaican hand pie, it's amazing.
That was the other one I bought, actually. The gentleman behind me, he said, get the, I think I shared against the sour cherry and the Jamaican. So I ended up buying the steak and stout, the butter chicken, and the other one. So.
Yeah, the Jamaican's great. And yeah, well, and the Italian job, those are hand pies too. So those are great. They're a little smaller with this on the side. They're always great. But yeah, so we're constantly like changing, and we'll have ice cream back in the summer. And typically we do come June, we do what is called a pie shake. Oh. And so that is actually a slice of pie in a milkshake.
Oh my gosh.
And I gotta tell you, that sour cherry pie or coconut cream, it's a split it with somebody. Don't drink a whole one because you'll hate yourself. But my kids can drink those all day long. It is so good. And then you get the flakes in the pastry. Oh. We do a market. I do a market every month at the Children's Hospital. Oh, it's part of our give back for my children. And Joanne does we do a market at the Tom Baker Foothills. But we always tell people, you know, after working the Tom Baker and everything, count chemicals, not calories. Everything.
I was okay with it. Yep.
Yep. Like it's the chemicals that freak me out. You know, people saying to me, well, why don't you use shortening? Then you could be vegan. And I was like, yeah, but it's 3 molecules short of plastic. Yeah. And I think you probably know this already, but you know that we grind our own pork. We grind our own beef. Yes. Wow, yeah. Everything is from scratch. So all the fillings, nothing comes into our store that, like most pies that you would get even from a bakery, they would buy the shells and they would buy a bucket of filling. We make everything from scratch.
Where we can find you guys, I'm assuming you're on social media. Are you on Facebook, Instagram? Where can we like, share, leave reviews? Where can we do all that?
Yeah, everywhere. So big on Instagram always. I think I'm kind of at 16,400 followers, I think, right now. So Instagram, Pie Junkie YYC. Same for Twitter, Pie Junkie YYC. We have our website, of course, which is piejunkie.ca. We're working very diligently right now on making that an e-commerce site. Oh, awesome. You will be able to order online, and then again at this point in time, until we can figure out how to do citywide delivery, pretty challenging for a small business. You'll be able to pick up at your store of choice or curbside, no contact pickup or quick pickup. So we're working on the e-commerce side of it as quickly as we can. Awesome. Given the climate, I think everybody's going e-commerce, right? But yeah, it'd be great if people knew we were there and that we, we make sweet and we make savory and we make it all with pride and love. And yeah, it's 2 Calgary women restarting their careers at age 50. And and that it's, nobody makes pie like we do. I get to say that. Nobody makes pie like we do. Anybody else would be crazy to do it.
Well, thank you so very much for coming on. We really appreciate. We know you drove fairly far, I think, to come to get your Wi-Fi, so I really appreciate your time.
Good, thank you.